We are going to look at rewriting equations. So, how to rewrite equations into slope-intercept form, which we already know is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. You need to isolate y. So isolate just means get y by itself by using the properties of equality. So here are some already worked out problems. We're going to highlight y, as you can see, as we go through. We're going to bring everything that's not y to the other side of the equal sign by using the opposite operation. Positive, so the opposite is a negative. Negative, the opposite is a positive. Negative, the opposite is a positive. And then when there's a number attached to y, we will need to divide by that number because they're connected through multiplication. And we divide everything by that number. And then we have our form, and y equals mx plus b. And remember, you could only combine like terms. These are not alike, so therefore they are not going to be combined. You're just going to drag and drop them down into the equation like you see them over here. So let's do a couple together. So we're going to rewrite them in y equals mx plus b. Well, the first one, there really isn't a number, but we know there is a number 1 in front of y. Now, technically, it's a negative one, right? Because there's a negative in front of it. I'm going to draw my line of equality. I got to get y by itself. So in order to do that, I'm going to divide by negative 1. Everything gets divided by negative 1. What you do to one side, you have to do to the entire other side. So negative 1 divided by negative 1, that cancels out, and I'm left with just y. 5 divided by negative 1 is negative 5. And then 6 divided by negative 1 is negative 6. So that is my rewritten equation. And just let's practice identifying slope and y-intercept. Slope is the number next to the x, so that's negative 5. My y-intercept is negative 6. Okay, next one. Okay, draw my line down the equal sign, and I'm going to bring over my term x first, just because I'm going to get the x on the right side and then look at whatever is attached to the y. So in this case, I'm going to bring the whole term over. So it is a plus 6x. So the opposite would be to subtract 6x on both sides. I'm going to bring down the negative 3y. 6 minus 6x. These are not like terms, so I cannot combine them. This term right here has an x. This one does not. So I'm just going to drag it and drop it right here. This is a positive 6, so I'm just going to bring it down here. Please always put the term that has the x first, because then it's already going to be in y equals mx plus b form. You don't have to rearrange it. Drag the x term and then the y term. Now there's a number attached to the y. It's a negative 3. It's connected through multiplication, so the opposite would be to divide by negative 3. Oops, forgot to change colors. So I'm going to divide by negative 3. Negative 6 divided by negative 3 is a positive 2. And then positive 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. So my slope is 2. Y-intercept, negative 2. Okay, next one. Let's look here. So x is already on the right side, so we're good. There's not a number in front of x, so I'm just going to put a value of 1. And now I'm going to draw my line of equality. I got to separate the negative 3 and the y. They're connected through multiplication, so the opposite would be to divide. They divide out and get you 1, so I'm just left with y on the left. 1 divided by negative 3, well, that'll give you a really ugly decimal, so we're just going to keep it a fraction. 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. Oops, forgot to box this one over here. I'm going to box this one. That's my final answer. My slope, just to refresh our brain, is a negative 1/3, and my y-intercept is negative 3. So, just to reiterate, whenever x is not on the right side, you're going to move that term over first. That's also what we did right here and right here. We moved the x term over first. They're not alike, so you just rewrite them. Move the x term over first, so same thing. They're not alike, so we just rewrite them. After you move the x term to the correct spot, then you have to look at what's connected to y. Whatever's connected to y is connected through multiplication, so you have to divide. Now here are your on your own problems. Once again, I'm not going to do them. If you want extra practice and do them and have me check them, you're more than welcome to. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to the rewriting and then graphing. So same thing here. I'm going to rewrite this. X is not on the right side, so I'm going to move x first. The opposite of a negative is a positive. Oops. Bring down my y, and I'm left with 4x plus 2. Because these two are not alike, I can't combine them. I'm just going to drag it and drop it, drag it and drop it. X term always goes first. Did I give you a spot for M and B? Nope. M is 4, and I'm going to write that 4 over 1, and B is 2, just so I can easily see my rise and my run. So remember, whenever you graph y equals mx plus b, your first point is your y-intercept. So I'm going to find 2 on my y-axis. Then I'm going up 4 and to the right 1 from this point. Slope is your pattern. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Up 4 and to the right 1. So I go up 4, right 1. Now, I would normally do a third point, but I really can't do that because there is no room. So I'm going to go backwards. Down 4 and left 1. Down 4 and left 1. And like I've said before, guys, you don't have to do multiple points. However, the more points you make, the easier it is to make a straight line. You have to do 2, but no more than 2. Now, the second question down here, we haven't really talked a ton about, so we're going to identify an ordered pair that is a solution. So what that means is we're going to pick a point on the line. So what is an ordered pair that is a solution? A solution is another word for answer. In this case, we're finding an ordered pair that would land on this line. So it does not matter which point you pick. You can see there's 4 options right here. I'm going to pick a point that's not the y-intercept, just to reiterate how to write it. So this would be -1, -2. Granted, you could have picked this one, -2, -6. You could have picked this one, which is 0, 2, or this one, which is 1, 6. All of those are solutions. So if you get an answer or a question like this on a quiz, there will be multiple options that you could pick. All right, let's do, oh yeah, one more and then we're done, guys. Okay, let us rearrange. Well, x is not on the right side, so I gotta put it on the right side. I gotta do the opposite, which is to add. Now, they are not like terms, so I'm just gonna rewrite what I see. Up and down, left to right. Remember, your x term goes first. The term that's by itself goes second. The number that's by itself goes second. Now, there's a -4 attached to the y through multiplication. So I'm going to divide everything by -4. I'm going to have to bring it over here. So y equals, so I have 6 over 4, and that's negative. And then 16 divided by -4 gives me, oops, almost forgot my x, a -4. Now I can reduce here. They're both divisible by 2. So I'm going to reduce that to 3 over 2, just so it's easier to graph. My slope here is -3 over 2, so I'm going to go down 3 and to the right 2. And then my y-intercept is -4. So remember, y-intercept is the starting point, -4, and then down 1, 2, 3, and to the right 2. Down 3, right 2. Remember, once again, I can't go this way, so I'm going to go this way. Opposite in both directions. So up 3 and to the left 2. Up 3, left 2. Up 3, left 2. Oh, wow, I can go all the way. Very nice. Connect it. And there we go. And then now we get to pick an ordered pair that falls on this line. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different options. I'm gonna go with this one, -6, +5. Remember, your X comes first and then your Y. All right, guys, that's it.